Come, Ella. Today we ride to our destiny. Yeah. On.
Hey guys, Prince of Macedon here, and I want to apologize right now. When I was recording this session, I forgot to turn the microphone on. So the person talking is me, but the words are not going to match what I'm saying right now. I'm adding this commentary after I played this, so just ignore me talking on the bottom right section of the video. It's just not going to match. Watch this. Oh no, it's Gojira! Oh no, must run! Must run back to ancient Greece. Anyways, in the last video session, which was my 9th session, I got a white peace with Rome. Rome declared war on me, but we never fought, so we had a white peace. And since I didn't have to worry about Rome, I was able to fight against the northern barbarians. And there were the Odrysians, which I wiped out. I also went to war with Arutela. Got a lot of territory from those guys. Arutela was able to reform, and they got a little bit bigger, actually, to be honest. But I wanted those 3 cities that you see right there so that I could finally take Pistyros, and I could put a fort there, and I could defend that section of my northern kingdom a lot easier. But yeah, I took out Odrysia, I took out Arutela, and then I went back and punished the Paeonians, who were one of my feudatory states. Because in a previous war with Cypress, aka Phrygia, they gave them military access to their country, and then I had Cypress troops landing in the back door of my kingdom. I was not very happy with Paeonia, so I slaughtered them too. I was able to get seek a white peace with Cyprus eventually after killing tons of, like thousands upon thousands of their troops. They eventually slaughtered my national army, so I had to recruit 2 mercenary armies, which was enough to stop the invasion and get a white peace with them. And the reason why I got a white peace with Cyprus is because I was going to have a civil war, which I did. It was my 5th civil war, so I wanted peace with Cyprus at all cost. And I put down the civil war really fast, but I really wanted to keep fighting Cyprus, but not with a civil war happening. So anyways, I control almost all of Greece. I just have Argos and Euboea, who are my vassal states, and I have those southern Greek isles under the command, or under the control of Cyprus, which I actually took that during the war with them, but when I sought my white peace, they took their islands back, and I now have an exiled army out there of 6,000. And I still need to take Crete, which is that really big island south of the Peloponnese. That was home of the Minotaur. So, oh yeah, also on my Illyrian coast right there, the freaking Dalmatians put a claim on my territory, so they were getting really aggressive. But I had no plans to fight them just yet. I wanted to take Crete down there. And I also want to take those 3 cities from Arutela up north. So those are my objectives in this video. And here I'm just checking out Crete's defenses. They only have 8 cohorts. But you're going to find out later on, they are able to spring tons of troops just from beating a stick on the ground. Because when I invade them later on, they go from 8,000 to about 50,000 in like seconds. And it's a nasty surprise when I invade them later on. So yeah, again, I am recording the commentary after the fact that I played this. So this... You see me talking down there, and unfortunately, you're not going to hear what I was saying during the video. I'm just adding my commentary now. So I'm going to take a little water right now. What I'm doing right now is looking at my my disloyal commanders and trying to make them more peaceful towards my people. The biggest problem I've been having was keeping my officials happy, my generals happy, and I eventually got my stability down, but it's a lot of the problems that I'm having with my campaign is keeping my people peaceful internally. So right there's my exiled army of 6,000. I'm gonna build a navy to pick them up so that I can get them back on the mainland of my kingdom. Some other big stuff that happened in the last video session was I lost my my king. My king died, so I now have a new king. Well, I at least had a new king at the start of this video, so my stability was all the way like down to like 15% or something like that. Anyways, you can see up in Arutela, they did have a little revolt happening. So the first order of business in terms of external actions was for me to take those 3 cities that are north of Orion there. Or just, you know, just right next to Diocletianopolis. I want to take those 3 cities. Take as much as I can. And yeah, there's a lot of events that pop up. Try to read them when you can. Because they do have profound effects on your kingdom sometimes. Not always, but sometimes they do. So I have 2 mercenary armies going north. And I eventually have 4 separate armies that are going to launch into Arutela. That's me, I'm picking a new governor for Illyria. And the problem I've been having with Illyria was getting a good governor. Because I think every single one of my governors now have revolted, and there's been a civil war. Then I lose my governor again. It's just really hard. And here I have all these people supporting a pretender, so I just had enough at this point. I'm just gonna start imprisoning people and executing them when I can. Because before I was playing nicey with these disloyal people, and you know what was happening? I was having all these civil wars. I've already had 5 like civil wars. The last civil war, number 5, wasn't as bad. But the first 4 before that were terrible. Drained my manpower. Lost a lot of good commanders. Lost some armies. And I had to have a period of rebuilding. And that's just hard to do when I'm trying to expand. So a lot of times when I'm trying to expand, these civil wars happen. And then I'm stuck where I was. But at least at the start of this video, I had expanded to the north. And down there is Crete. Crete has no allies except for Rhodes. And I'm just going to select a commander for my fleet. And then I'm going to send that fleet down to pick up my exiled army down there. Because those islands are now controlled by Cypress. Again, when I sought my white peace with them before my civil war, yeah, that army got exiled out there. So I'm just going to go pick them up. And I'm going to use that exiled army and use them for my invasion of Arutela up in the north. And you can see my government positions are all vacant. And I'm having some really crappy people to fill in with here. In fact, I'm out of people to pick. So, a lot of this game I don't understand yet. I'm still loving it though. It's still my top 5 favorite games of all time in that bracket. But I'm still learning the game, and eventually I'll have more people to pick to fill those vacant offices. And I'm going to pick up those dudes right there. And I'm always going to hold those Olympic Games. Since I hold Olympia, I hold the Olympics Games. And if I say yes, then the whole Greek world will have a plus 20 opinion of Macedon. As they say, the show must go on, and I will always hold the Olympic Games. So anyways, yeah, getting a stability loss here. It's during this time where I'm just imprisoning and executing these traitors here. Because again, I just want to avoid another civil war. That's gonna make my tyranny score go way up, and I'm gonna lose a lot of stability doing that. But I feel like the ends will justify the means. If I can keep my kingdom happy at the expense of killing some rebels and traitors, then so be it. Again, back then, these were different times, and this is the way that they dealt with things. They would just execute them. You had some friendlier people like Caesar, but in the end, he got executed by the people he was helping. So, yeah, back then it really did pay to execute your rivals. It's just a really brutal time. So anyways, right there, my money went negative 106, and I knew what was going to happen. I knew that my mercenary armies would go back to being unemployed. But at that point, I was like, that's alright. That's fine. Because the money is coming back. So right there, I just lost another mercenary army. Because my money's negative. When your money's negative like that, then if you have any mercenary armies, they will leave your employment. And they will just go back to being neutral until you employ them again. But those mercenary armies are really expensive, so I wasn't too heartbroken, and nobody was invading me right now. And you can see my money is going back into the positives really soon. So I was okay with that. But yeah, the first order of business, once I can, is to invade that northern tribe of Arutela. And I attacked them in the last video as well. But unfortunately, a lot of the territories I took from them went back to another computer opponent. I forgot which kingdoms they were. But I wanted to go back to war with them and take those 3 cities from them, so I can defend the northern borders a lot easier. At strategically well-placed spots, like in between mountains. So I can build a fortress there and just hold those spots. I don't like having their territory protruding into my kingdom like that. So here, the idea here was to raise another national army and just get an invasion of Arutela going up in the north. And then once I secured that border, you know, got the mountain areas that I aimed to take, then I would turn my attentions toward the south and take Crete. So just raising some armies right now. And again, whenever someone asks for military access, I really have no reason to give it to them. If I was playing a multiplayer game and they asked me for military access and they were an ally, I would probably give it to them if I trusted them. Like, that's what I did during the tournament. I would give, like, Thrace military access. And he gave me military access so that we can both invade Phrygia. Which is called Cypress in this session. They got renamed for some reason. So I'm number 6 there on the world score. Yeah, there's some Spanish factions ahead of me and some Indian factions, and then of course Rome on top. But it's cool to see some, you know, factions in the Iberian Peninsula become world powers. Carthage is also out there too, so they might clash with Carthage. And you can see Rome and Carthage are, I don't know, I feel like they should be fighting relatively soon. Carthage, towards the start of this video, had over, what, 200 or 300 cohorts at their disposal. And Rome only had like 100 or so cohorts. But Carthage has a lot of territory to cover, so I'm sure a lot of those troops were spread out. So again, all these pretenders here, I mean, all these people supporting a pretender called Menandros Prepalawid. And that's just been an ongoing problem with my campaigns, is people supporting pretenders here. So yeah, this is when I start to, you know, execute people. Because I just want to avoid another repeat of more civil wars. Well, I thought I did it here. Maybe not. I am going to execute those guys, though. All those people in prison. I had one of those epiphanies where I was like, yeah, you know, I can't apply today's, you know, modern sensibilities to ruling a kingdom, you know, such a long time ago. It's a different mindset that you have to take. It would be nice to have that luxury of being, you know, merciful. So right there, that's the pretender here. So all I could do at most was smear his reputation. Maybe dissuade some of those people from supporting him. So they want me to release Pithadelos. How about no? How about I don't do that? But yeah, you can see there's some occupying going on north of me. So yeah, there's a lot of places I want to destroy. Especially I want to take Byzantium eventually, but that's going to lead to a war with Cypress. Alright, so I have the money, so I start recruiting these mercenary armies again. Those are the ones that I had control of at the beginning. But when my money dipped to negative from all those events that I was supporting, I lost them, but I have the money now, so I bought them back. And what I want to do is use them for my invasion of Arutela up in the north. And again, this is really difficult for me to add the commentary now because I'm not playing live, although you're watching me playing live. But this commentary is not live commentary. It's not matching what the person on screen is saying. And I'm just trying to remember what I was saying, to be honest. But I'm probably not even going to try to. Just, you can see what's happening on the screen. I'm just going to talk about different stuff here. But you look at my legitimacy, it's all the way down because I have a new king. But I think this new king might be a bit superior to my last king. Although he is kind of old. It'd be nice to get a king that was like, who was 17. So that I can keep his legitimacy up. And all of his commanders will be a bit more loyal over time. But here it looks like, you know, all my kings are super old. And then once they die, I have to get everyone loyal to a new king and get their legitimacy up too. So it's hard having these old kings. So that's me looking at Arutela and just, you know, that's who they're allied with. So the goal here was to blitzkrieg through Arutela and hopefully not get embroiled in an extended war with the neighboring tribes, because Arutela itself is not dangerous, but when they're combined with all their allies, it's basically like fighting another regional major power. So that was my idea, was to just, you know, knock them out really fast and then piece them out before their allies made a big mess of things. So I got the money, gonna plop down some marketplaces, maybe some granaries, I believe. I was thinking about putting a fortress down, but I was like, I'm not quite ready yet. A lot of times when I'm putting these fortresses down, I'm also thinking of when I get invaded. If the enemy takes that fortress, then it becomes something, it becomes an obstacle for me. So I don't want to just plop forts down everywhere because they could be used against me later on. So I'm always mindful of the future sometimes. I'm always sometimes. That makes no sense. So this is another blood-soaked episode. I didn't mean for it to be, but it's gonna be a blood-soaked episode because yeah, when I go to war with Arutela, it gets drawn out, and then when I turn south against Crete, that gets really drawn out too. It's just not what I was expecting, but you know, in war, there are things you can't predict, and I think this game does a good job of that. It's like, not everything you want goes the way you want it to go. Look at Dendarius sending me money. It's so cool how a lot of these random kingdoms will send you money. And a lot of times, it's kingdoms that you denied military access to. But yet, here they are trying to send you money. They probably think, hey, if they send me enough money, I might give them military access later on. Oh yeah, so I'm clicking on my armies and just picking the most effective battle tactic for them. And there my score's down to 8 now on the world score. Like, never get obsessed with that world score because it doesn't really mean too much. Excuse me, it just means points. So here's one of the things, you know, there's a lot of information, and for these events you gotta pick, a lot of times, you know, the lesser of two evils. And I feel like that's what I did in that case. So all those marketplaces are being plopped up. And here, I think it's here where I start to execute everybody. This is another option for some of those. It's let them fight in a gladiatorial debut, but if they win, then they come back even more popular. So, in my opinion, I think it's just better to execute. Like, if they're gonna be traitors once, then they're probably gonna betray you later on too, so I just like to execute them. And again, they haven't been executed yet. At some point, I go through a whole execution spree, and then my tyranny goes... Well, my tyranny's all the way up already. It looks like, I think. Okay, I can see my screen better now. The top was a little bit truncated for a second. So yeah, look at that rebel army right there. Attacking the cities that I want eventually from Arutela. But I don't want to go in there yet. I want to wait for the situation to clear up before I go in. Because if I go in and there are it's just like a rebel army in there, they can take that capital and deny me those cities. That's what happened in my first war against Arutela. There was a rebel army who took the city before I did. Actually, they had troops on their capital city, but nothing was happening until I put one of my bigger troops on, and that caused the city to go down. Even though I took the city for the computer ended up taking those cities away from me because they held the capital and they pieced them out. So I'm always wary about that. But look how big Arutela is now. It's huge, so it's definitely a threat that I need to deal with immediately. And I have, I think, 4 access points into Arutela. You know, there's with 1, 2, about 3 access points through Arutela. The cool thing is, you know, they're protected by mountain passes, so only 3 ways in, 3 ways out. Anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying my my campaigns. I know it's different from what I normally do, but I love this game so much. And it's a very peaceful way to play games. Here, it's kind of random. That rebel army, I didn't know it was going to attack Macedon as well, because they came from Arutela, did not know they would fight me. So I sent an army down to destroy them. So I guess those rebel armies don't really abide by anybody's rules. So here I'm just reading the effects of what I was of my courses of action, and again you have to pick what's best for your country, and best for your war aims. And see my legitimacy. I'm just trying to get it up because when it's a new king, you have to get his legitimacy up. And just a little foreshadowing. Yeah, I'm gonna be pumping out that legitimacy button later on too. If that tells you anything about what happens to my current commander in this at the start of this video, my current king, my Basileus. But anyways, that's the beauty of Macedon. There's a lot of mountain passes, and you can defend it pretty easily. So when Rome started to invade Philip V's kingdom of Macedon, yeah, they had to deal with all these mountain passes. And they had to keep maneuvering and outmaneuvering. Eventually, Philip got taken into battle. He tried to avoid it as long as he could by skirmishing and retreating. But eventually he was brought to battle at Cynocephaly. And he actually almost won that battle. But he had some trouble forming up his other wing. And the Romans took advantage of that. But he actually did come close to stopping the Romans there. Problem with the Romans is if you don't stop them there, you have to stop them another place, and then another place, and then another place, and they keep coming and coming and coming. They are relentless. But the fact is that there's a lot of great places in Macedon to defend because of those mountain passes. Like a king who knows his own kingdom in Macedon will be very much capable of defending and fending off a foreign invasion. I think here I hold a triumph for Aristophanes Induvitii. And because of that, he now has a new cognomen. It's the Axe. Aristophanes, the Axe Induitii, or whatever. And again, another sense of foreshadowing, but his nickname should be the Axed. If that makes any sense. Again, I've already played this, well, I already know what happens in this campaign for number 10 here. I'm just so annoyed I had my microphone turned off because now I have to add commentary to it, which I'm doing right now. It must be disconcerting for you guys if you're trying to follow the lip movement on the video portrait, because it's not syncing up, and I'm totally not saying what my past self was saying. So here I'm just checking out Crete's army. It's still at 8 cohorts, and they are allied with Rhodes right there. And it looks like Pamphlet controls the actual island of Rhodes. So this is really great. This game. It's just awesome to command your own kingdom. Kind of like being I guess a Disney prince, but actually having responsibility and not just trying to court the lady here. You actually have to run your kingdom. And yeah, being royalty is actually really hard. You know, you have the threat of being imprisoned, the threat of being murdered by a rival, being murdered by a pretender, and it's really not a safe place. Like, being royalty is not safe at all, guys. I mean, I'm not speaking from experience, but I'm speaking from what I know from reading. And I guess, you know, in this sense, playing this game, because, you know, no one's really safe in this kingdom. So here I'm gonna fabricate a claim on Arutela, who own parts of Paeonia there. But honestly, I want all of Arutela. So I got my claim, so when I do declare war on Arutela, I won't take a stability loss. And you can see my stability is at 0 right now. That's not bad, but ideally your stability should be 2 or 3, 3 being the highest. But once you go negative, it's bad, because your peeps, the people in your kingdom, are less happy, and your commanders become unruly, you know, stuff like that. So because I have these mercenary armies, I go for the Blessing of Hades, which will increase my tax, my national tax, by 26%. And my goal here was to end this war before my my omen went out. So that's why I have the tax omen going, so that I can fund my mercenary armies. I have like 2 of them right now. And I'm going to put my armies in position, and I have 4 separate armies that are ready to go into Arutela. So it's a pretty massive force I have arrayed against these guys. And the reason why I have so many arrayed against them is because of Arutela's allies, and the fact is Arutela got a lot bigger since the last time I fought them. So this is really just putting my troops in position. Nowadays, you can see an army moving into position. So if you see like a bunch of troops massing on your borders today, you can say, hey dude, what are you trying to do? You're trying to attack me? And then you can prepare accordingly. Back then you had scouts and also word of mouth from spies and local populaces. And they can tell you when an army was massing on your border. So that usually meant something really bad was going to happen to you really soon. So they have 4 allies, and I'm going to go to war with them now. So I'm going to take that little city that's isolated from the rest of Arutela. I'm going to take them out and then move on. So it's a 4-pronged attack on Arutela. Going in from there, and I'm also going in from here too. The problem is really not Arutela, but the allies who might come in to help. And believe you me, their allies are going to help a lot. This is going to be a really messy fight. I eventually want to pacify all these barbarian tribes to the north. I want a lot of territory before I take on the Romans, if I take them on. Most likely I will, though. Because it's been my Macedonian dream to fight the Romans and destroy them. I might wait for an opportunistic time, which I've been pretty opportunistic in my campaign. But let's say Carthage starts to invade Rome with its massively superior, well, you know, with its superior numbers. I might just come in and, you know, wipe out Rome's allies in the Illyrian side of things. Get a little closer to Rome. Maybe I might launch a direct invasion of Rome. I don't know. Definitely going to keep Rome monitored, though. But as for now, this is the invasion, with the four-pronged invasion of Arutela. So it's going pretty well right now. But we have not seen all the allies bust out yet. So now you can see a lot of the allies coming out near their other fort city right there, above where I'm laying siege to. And now they're marching through Balanstra. And here, one of my armies is tackling a much bigger army from somebody. And I actually managed to beat them, but I see an army of 15,000 coming down too, so I'm going to retreat my army of 9,000. I'm surprised I beat that superior number army, but I want to link up with my mercenaries who are at 21,000 right there. But look at my army, my money, it's 1,400 plus gold right now, so it's a monetary situation in Macedon's pretty good. It's good to be well off. So that army is trying to retreat on the left side there. But you can see one of his allies is invading Macedon now, or is getting close to coming to Macedon. See him? He's taking territory up there. That's in Bysura. So I just bought another mercenary army, and now you can see my deficit is going to be negative. But the goal here is just to keep smashing these armies where I can, slaying barbarians wherever I see them, and just take Arutela. But you can see this is not the smooth campaign I thought it was going to be. So I was definitely wise to take all these mercenary armies. I think I have like 3 mercenary armies and 2 national armies. One of my mercenary armies is 41,000 strong. You can see all the information on the outliner on the right hand side of the video. You can see all my armies and my navies, which my navy isn't big yet. But by the end of this video, my navy will quadruple in size, just out of necessity. So there I defeated another army. That wasn't an army of Arutela, but I was trying to stop them from attacking attacking Macedon. But a lot of actions happening at once right now. Oh yeah, look at right there. That small army, I did not beat him actually. They beat my army of, what, 40,000. And they only had like, what, 4,000 troops versus 40,000 of my guys. Sorry, I misread that. But yeah, that was a huge embarrassment. I had just bought that mercenary army, and honestly, I should have expected nothing less, or nothing more out of that mercenary army. Because mercenary armies are usually pretty unpredictable. So my mercenary army came back from that debacle. They're down in AG now. But it's still good to have them. You know, I can still stop the movement of that army that's moving south into Macedon. It's only, what, 1.7 thousand. But there's another army right there. That's Arutela's. That's an army of 6,000. So Arutela is invading the northern part of my kingdom right now. But my goal was to take all of Arutela, piece him out, and then that'll nullify all of his troops that are attacking Macedon. So I took that really big fort there. And I'm about to lose a battle in the middle right there. It's 5,000 versus 26,000. So I went on the left side there. But I lost the battle in the middle as predicted. But I got my incompetent army of mercenaries of 39,000 moving back up. Hopefully they had learned their lesson from the first battle where they lost to a much smaller army that was 4 times smaller than that one. But it's a huge mess right now. All of those allies of Arutela are trying to destroy me. But I've got my own big army on the right, taking on that army of 11,000. So I gotta win battles, gotta destroy those armies. Once I destroy those armies, I can just, you know, pacify that region. So I lost some battle just now. I think it was, no, I lost a city to a siege. So a lot of this is just looking at the map and seeing where I need my troops the most. It's kind of like, I guess, fighting a forest fire. You know, when your resources are spread thin, you have to prioritize where you need your resources the most. So instead of saving Macedon, I basically just want to take Arutela. The good thing is, I have Argos and Euboea acting as my my vassals, and they are going to come up and help me liberate those occupied territories in my kingdom. And there I just got some money from somebody. So look at that massive force. It's not massive, but it's a sizable force, considering I just been slaughtering these other guys. And here was another problem. Some other, I know, splinter group took the capital from me. Like, I think Arutela took it back from me, and then the rebel splinter group took it back from them, so I lost their capital, I think. And there I'm going to try to raise some troops for that army that reformed down there in Macedon. So, having some trouble. Well, what I wanted to happen was, I wanted Arutela to retake their capital city down there. Or whatever city that is. That's being sieged. It's something Ermantia. Maybe Germantia, maybe? Can't read it. There's a army, there's a troop over it. Yeah. It's like Germania, that's funny. It's not really Germania. But I wanted Arutela to retake it so that I can take it back, basically. So just to make things easier, I just started to imprison those people. And got my legitimacy back up to 100, that's great. And it looks like Arutela is looking for a white piece. And guess what? I don't want a white piece for them. I want to take those cities from them. I gotta get a peace with them so I can keep those cities that I've taken. Because, as I said, in the last outing against Arutela, I took all those cities by force by myself, but they all went to another kingdom. Because technically they stepped foot on their capital first, even though they weren't laying siege to it. It was my troops that gave them enough troops to lay siege to it. And giving them the capital gave them all those cities I took. It was kind of annoying. So, yeah, you can see Euboea coming up. They're going to help liberate some of those cities for me. So that's a great thing about having Euboea and Argos. You know, they will help out when they can. Unlike Paeonia, Paeonia never helped out in my battles. So that's why I didn't have too much guilt slaughtering Paeonia. So there I took another fortified city. That's great. And I was thinking about invading the allies of Arutela, but I was like, those are more forts to take. And there's more things to slow me down. I just want to peace out with Arutela, and then focus on taking Crete. Because I do prioritize the Greek world in this kingdom, in this campaign. So I'm going to try to sue for peace, but unfortunately, I don't have enough war score to do so. Wait, do I? Nope. Yeah, I don't have enough war score, so I gotta take some cities back, take more cities, destroy some armies, get my war score up, and then boom, I can keep those occupied places. So there, I did not want to attack that Arutela army group from taking its capital. I wanted them to retake it so I could retake it from them, if that makes any sense. Because, again, that splinter group took it from them, from me, who was from them. There I got my stability back to 0. And I also did some stuff to get my war exhaustion back down. But yeah, you can see the quagmire that I'm stuck in the north. And look, there's an army. Well, for a split second, there's a green army coming up from southern Greece. And that's Argos. They're coming to help out. So I'm choosing the most effective tactic, so I choose that. So I'm going to use that army to take some of these cities back and also try to beat those armies that are now in Macedon proper. Cannot have that happening. It completely insults my kingship when I have foreign troops marching through my capital. So I was actually having trouble with that unit right there. I think it might have been a little disloyal or something. I forgot what the deal was. Yeah, a lot of times I misclick or mishighlight things, so it gets kind of weird. Dendari is also fighting Arutela too. They're trying to make a grab for some of those cities. Since they're occupied in a war with me, you know, Dendari is like, hey, why not? Bribe. But yeah, look at the top left. Look at all that money I have. It's pretty sweet to have that much money. You can totally use that to build more buildings, like marketplaces, granaries, what have you. But look at all those places that they took from me. So I'm gonna start liberating some of those, but I have Argos right there on the left side with 11,000. They're gonna help liberate those cities from me as well. Liberate it from control of Arutela. And there's Euboea too. Euboea has the blue and white banner. Looks kind of like a square with a dot in the middle. That's Euboea. So always great to see those banners nearby, because I know they're gonna help me. So eventually I do want to take Euboea and Argos, but I don't want to take it by force. I just feel too sad doing that. I want to just get them to come over. Boom, so I canceled one of those mercenary armies. It was down to 224 troops. So I'm like, they're not really helping out right now. And just to make things less confusing and to stop that drain on my budget, I just disbanded them. And then if I need them later on, I can rehire them. No biggie. So yeah, in my dream scenario, my blitzkrieg would have happened so fast that all these allies of Arutela would not have been able to help. So here I'm going to try to piece them out again. Still don't have the war score to do it yet. So that basically means they're not convinced that they should give up their territories. So there I disbanded another mercenary army. That was down to 345, and already they're back to 1,000. But I have no need of them right now. They're just draining my budget, and their troops are just way too low. And I almost rehired them just now. So I was like, wow, look at that long path I have to take to get around it. But Paeonia, or not Paeonia, Euboea's right there to take that city back for me. So that's a blessing. I love having allies. Or, they're not allies, they're my feudatories. There should be a game show on this called The Family Feud. Silence, guys, silence. Anyways, I plan not to make too many videos like this, where I add the commentary after. Again, I only did this because I forgot to plug in the microphone when I recorded this the first time. And because I saved over the game, I couldn't redo it, unfortunately. So here I am, trying to rectify it. Alright, so I'm back in Macedon here with my mercenary army, and I'm trying to smash these armies that are invading. It's a really small army from Arutela. And I got this big mercenary army of 19,000. Unfortunately, they survived that, so I had to keep fighting them. and keep liberating them. But I have Argos and Euboea helping out too, so they are right there to give a helping hand. And they're a foreigner just arrived from Dardania. If I was a king and I heard that a foreigner arrived at my kingdom, I would be kind of bored. Like, how many times a day do foreigners arrive in another country? Probably a lot. I guess if it was like a VIP foreigner and they might have affected my government, then maybe I would want to hear about it. Anyways, guys, I know not all of you had this game. If you had this game, what kingdom or republic or whatever city-state, what faction would you want to control? And what would be your war aims or your aims in general? All right, I think this when I start to execute people, because I know I go through. Yeah, this is it. This is where I go through my spree of executions and imprisonments. It's like, if they're just gonna support my pretenders, then I've got no use for them. Like, literally no use for them. They're just taking up dead space, dead weight, or they're making up dead weight. So imprison them, execute them. So yeah, it's just not worth keeping them around. Really not. Bum 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 bum. So Arutela is pretty much coming under control here. They still have a few of my cities occupied, but Argos and Euboea are doing a pretty good job of liberating those cities. And I'm not sitting back either. I'm sending troops out to help out too with my own liberation. If you look to the right there, next to Bessapria, there's a place called Philippopolis, and that is unoccupied by anybody. I think there's just nobody there that this can't be controlled. Alright, boom! Looks like I got my peace with Arutela. I pieced him out. I didn't get every place that I wanted, but at least I pieced him out, and I can stabilize my kingdom a little bit before I invade Crete, which is down south. But I took those 3 cities that I wanted from Arutela that would be protected by a mountain pass, and that took a little bit more afterwards too. So that's the really good thing about that. Yeah, apparently I forgot to... I didn't plug in my microphone earlier. No, it's already... So I'm adding commentary afterwards. So I have like another hour left.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. It's alright. What, do you like the game? You can tell my viewers. Do you like the game?
Oh, yeah. I haven't played it.
You haven't played it? Is it a game that you would want to play eventually?
I wouldn't mind trying.
It's kind of like a board game.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're like, it's like the card games that you play.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
The big difference is everything's all real time, so it's all happening at once.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have the option of pausing it, but I like things happening all at once. I like the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, in this video, I just pacified this northern tribe, took them out, taking their territory. Now I'm looking at these guys. This is Menandros Prepolawit. I think he is one of the pretenders, I think. I forgot. But I'm still at war with these Saldonesians, and look how far they are. I don't know how they got into war with me in the first place. So I was thinking about offering them a peace, but I'm like, nah, that makes me look weak, so I'll just wait for the white peace to happen, and if they do manage to come down, I'll slaughter them. Picking a new governor for Moesia up there. Wait, it's not a new governor. He's the first Macedonian governor of Moesia. Yeah, so another problem is, you know, having loyal governors who do a good job. Anyways, look at my legitimacy. It's down to 91%. I'm gonna fill up these offices. So yeah, now I have more officials to fill in those vacant offices. So that's a good thing. So my stability dropped. Execute. Deny access. Accept trade route. And I'm gonna put that guy in charge of martial advances. Pretty much the only time I don't take a trade route is if it's a kingdom that I am a rival with, that I plan to fight. Like, if Cypress asks for trade, I'm probably gonna say no to them, typically. But it would not make me lose sleep if I did accept trade with them. So here I'm waiting for sacrifice to the gods so I can get my stability back to 0, because -1 is the bad thing. And right there's Crete. Eyes on the prize, guys. I want Crete. That's like an untouched part of Greece right now. Untouched in the fact that they're not allied with Cyprus, not allied with some other major power. So what I plan to do now is build up a huge navy where I can transport even my biggest mercenary army. I make a slight miscalculation on how big my biggest mercenary army is. And you'll see later on, because with the attrition, it brings our numbers down, so I didn't see how big their army actually was. So I built a navy that's big enough to hold, I think, 35 cohorts or something. But I ended up needing a navy of like 42 or 43,000, or 43 triremes. Kind of interesting that the equivalent of one trireme is 1,000 troops. So I can apparently put 1,000 troops on one trireme, which I'm pretty sure that's not possible. I would have to look again at how many people the biggest trireme could hold. Pretty sure 1,000's a little too big for it, but I don't know though. I do have this naval book on ancient military history by, I think, Granger, where he talks about the navies of the great powers of the Hellenistic world. So you have the Romans in there, and of course the Seleucids, Antigonids, what have you, the Ptolemies. But yeah, they're still fighting in the north, but I already pieced out the war that I wanted, and I got the cities that I wanted. And down here you can see my navy being built up. Now it's at 20 triremes. So 20 triremes means I can hold 20,000 troops. Or 20,000 cohorts. So what I'm going to do now is start bringing my my armies down south. And I'm going to prepare for the invasion of Crete. So I go from one war to the next. And there's a bit of urgency now because I see that Crete is still not allied with anybody, so it makes a conquest of them a lot easier. Or so I think. You're gonna see later on that Crete is no pushover. They are gonna fight. They're gonna fight really hard when I attack them later on. Sorry, my voice is going out. I'm gonna have some chocolate and some water. Enjoy what you're seeing on screen, though. I don't want to talk nonstop. Let me put a question out to you guys. In the future, what kingdom, or what faction do you want me to control when I'm not doing Macedon? I do want to do a lot of Macedonian Campaign before I switch to another faction. I mean, I can also still play multiple campaigns at once too. But then it becomes harder to remember all the the historical narrative of my gaming sessions though. So I don't know when I'll take on the role of another faction. But when I do, what faction do you want me to use? I think Rome's a little too easy to use. When I was doing my review of the game, I slaughtered like 80% of Italy in like 15-20 minutes. It was that easy. And yeah, they do classify Rome as an easy faction to use. Macedon is considered normal. And then the Seleucids are at difficult level. If you look at the map and see how big the Seleucids are, that size is a liability. Because a lot of those places, you know, they're filled with different cultures. You gotta keep them happy, you have disloyal people. It's just a powder keg waiting to implode. So that's why the Seleucids are considered really difficult. Plus, they're surrounded by the Mauryaans and the Phrygians. And they get the Armenians nearby too. It's just not an easy thing as the Seleucids apparently. I haven't tried them yet myself, but it just looks difficult. But yeah, my dream in this campaign is definitely to slaughter Rome eventually, if I can. The best way to do that is to probably build up a huge navy. But I'd prefer a more direct route via land, so I might just keep going north, taking those barbarians until I'm right next to the Roman faction on the map. And that'll give me a direct route into Italy without having to use a navy. And then I can get into a prolonged war with them. I'm only fearful of Phrygia jumping into a war with me when they see that I'm preoccupied with Rome, because that can very well happen. So look at all these ships coming to join my fleet. Unfortunately, this fleet is still going to be too small. Oh, here I say no to Phrygia for a trade route. That's one of the few instances where I say no to a trade route. But here, anyways, here, this fleet is still going to be too small to hold my mercenary army there, where it says 32.1k, because it's not 32,000 troops. Their potential is like 42, I think. 42,000, so what I need are 42 triremes. I only have 35. But I don't think I catch that immediately. So I think I declare war with these guys a little too early with Crete, because Crete's able to, I guess, prepare a little bit better. I basically declare war on them and then give them like 10-15 minutes or so, something like that, before my invasion actually happens. So it's kind of a letdown that I did it like that. So here I'm number 6 on the world score. Got a bunch of marketplaces plopped down. And I'm going to leave one army up north. I'm going to leave him right there. And there you can see he's reorganizing. And I've never really used that feature before, but that's my king. He is known as the Axe. And you can see how old he is. Quite an old king. Ba-da-da-bum. I'm thinking about later on maybe just taking on Dalmatia. I doubt Rome's going to be able to help. Rome is also allied with Veneto right there too. It's like they've created these alliances in the Balkans, which are really bothering me. And it's doing pretty well to stop me from just going north and taking them out. But after my white peace with them in the last video, I realized that they probably won't help out if I did attack those like factions in the Balkans. Well, not in the Balkans, but you know, up around the coastal area there. Take them out, and that'll make Rome weaker. Because if Rome does go to war with me, those guys are going to help out. So if I take them out now, I won't have to worry about them later on. I'm still tossing out ideas. Don't really know what I'm actually going to do when the time comes. I'm only going to know when I'm playing the video. Or when I'm playing the actual game again. A lot of times, I'll go to sleep saying, hey, the next day I'm going to take Crete out. And then I don't do it. But don't you worry, guys. In this video, I will attack Crete. And attempt to take him out. They're just not an easy people to beat. So yeah, still not at war with Crete yet. When I'm at war with somebody, you can see the crossed swords on the top middle. So you don't see it yet, but you will when I'm at war with somebody. Also on the bottom middle as well. Bottom middle right, you can see who I'm at war with too. But yeah, Dalmatia needs to go. They've already laid a claim to my Illyrian coast there. And they are allied with Rome, so... Wait, if it's Rome or Phrygia? If they're allied with Phrygia, I'm not going to attack him. If they're allied with Rome, I probably will attack him, just because Rome's proven that they probably won't help out. I mean, they might. I don't know. We'll see. But they were at war with me in the last video, and nothing became of that war. So I'm pretty confident that they're not going to help out in that region. Bump. So we are an hour and 2 minutes into this video right now. So demoralizing to have to redo the commentary after I already did it. Did it once and just to realize that the freaking microphone wasn't plugged in. What the heck? But look at Rome expanding into Central Europe there. Like they're getting close to where present-day Germany is. If they're not already there. Look at Carthage with their blind dude. And then looks like Rome had a Patrick Stewart with hair as their dictator, or whatever he was, a consul or whatever. Proconsul. Look at Greece, such a beautiful place. So those guys are disloyal, and those guys are going to be kind of a pain over the next 50 or so minutes. And there's a lot of times where I can't do anything about them because it costs oratory power to, deal with a governor or to make the local population happy. It costs oratory power, and right now I need oratory power to well, at times I need oratory power to fabricate a claim or do something else with the oratory power. I feel like the most power I do use in this game is the oratory power. That's used for pops, used for making your generals happy, your characters happy. If there is a research for that makes it come faster, then yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. Because oratory power is so important. Look at that. The axe is in remission right now from his treatment. Anyways, I promote those guys. That's in Bordapa, and they are a disloyal province right now. So there I lost my governor in Thrace, so I had to pick a new governor. That guy's really disloyal. 14. But he has a good finesse of 7. 7 finesse. which means he's more capable of governing than the guy with 3. But the guy with 3 finesse has more loyalty. So that's the governor I just put in charge of Thrace there, and he's already disloyal. But right now I'm just trying to stop a civil war. That's been an ongoing thing for me in these campaign videos, is trying to prevent civil war and then actually fighting the civil war. But I want to tell you right now, there are no civil wars in this video. So I think I do a pretty good job of stopping a civil war happening this time. Stability's back at 1, that's good. My tyranny is 99. Anyways, if you guys, some people are wondering why the game looks so choppy right now, and that's because whenever I use the face cam that's on Streamlabs OBS, it does cause the game to lag a lot. But when I'm not using Streamlabs OBS, then the game runs perfectly as smooth as any other video you see online. But I like to make my videos more personal by putting my face on there, and you can see my reactions to what's happening on the, at the situation at the time. Anyways, here, the reason why I can't merge these armies is because one of those generals is disloyal. So I'm gonna switch that commander out for another guy, and then I'm gonna merge him. Boom. They're merged. She is at 50 loyalty, so what do I do? What do I do in this case, guys? I don't remember. Bribe him, bribe him. Oh, I just closed it. I think here I'm still trying to build up the points to fabricated claim. That's why I don't even touch that. So the fabricated claim right now costs 163 oratory power. That's going to be a few more minutes before I build up to that. So you can see in the video, I'm a little frustrated. And actually, at this point in the video, the cat in the background was not moving, so I was a little scared. Because he's usually really active. So I try to move a little bit to get his attention. Because again, he's usually really active and loud, so I was a little bit concerned by that. So I take my headphones out, and then once I move closer to him, he puts his head up. So that's what happened in that part of the video, where I almost left the face cam for a moment. I just want to make sure the cat's okay. That's my my princess's best friend in the world, most best friend in the world. Legitimacy is at 100%. That makes me feel a little bit better, but I still have all these pretenders. I still have a pretender out there, and I have all these disloyal governors and researchers and what have you supporting that pretender. And I have all these disloyal people up in Thrace, in Bordepa. Vero. I still don't know what the benefit of removing a friend is. Does that make him... Will that make him more loyal if I remove him as a friend? I don't know why that's an option. I'm still trying to find the advantages and disadvantages of being friends, and a lot of things for this game. Trying to figure it out. So there's this guy called Eubulus Dardanid, and he is the new pretender. So here I try to find out who he is, I think. Look at all those imprisoned portraits. It's great. You know, as long as they're in prison, they're not causing a civil war. So there he is. That's Eubulus Dardanid. I can't do anything to him. He's not even a freaking citizen, and he's a pretender. So what is up with that? And there's no way in Hellas I'm going to give him citizenship. That'd just be ridiculous. Now I got a trade route request from somebody and another trade route request from somebody else. And look at Crete, still sitting pretty. They have no idea what's about to happen to them. And I, in turn, have no idea what's going to happen to me in Crete. It does not go swimmingly, I'll tell you now. Good news, though, this video is... You know, we're more than halfway done with the video, so that's going to save me the commentary, and that'll save you guys the agony if you're not enjoying it. But if you are enjoying it, then I'm very, very happy that you are. It's good to be, you know, leading Macedon, not just on battle, but also leading the kingdom too, because that is part of a king's responsibilities as a Macedonian. But again, another huge responsibility of a king in this time period for these Hellenistic kingdoms was actually leading the army personally in battle. You had to be like Alexander the Great if you wanted to rule a kingdom. That was one of the requirements of a king. So again, it was not easy to be a king back then for these kingdoms here. You had to lead in battle. You had to look out for assassination attempts. You had to look out for all these other factions trying to take your kingdom over. Especially being Macedon. Macedon was surrounded by enemies. Alright, so... fabricated my claim on Crete. And you can see my navy is still at 35 triremes. So I didn't realize how big that mercenary army right there is. It says they're 29.3. But I would need 42 triremes to get that mercenary army over to Crete. So because I don't realize that, my invasion of Crete is going to be a little bit delayed. Even though I declare war on Crete really soon. Anyways, I'm moving my mercenary army to Sparta. That's because Sparta has a higher supply limit. And then that'll get my my mercenary army back to a more higher level of troops. You can see Argos down there too. They probably want to help out. They want a piece of Crete. Those guys are still very unloyal. And since I have oratory power to give, I'm going to assimilate them, I think. Even though assimilating those guys will make them extremely unhappy. It makes them go to 35% happiness. Whereas when they weren't assimilated, it was like 78% happiness. So sometimes, you know, not assimilating could be better. Get married. Alright, military tradition. So you can see I'm going down the whole left column there. I want to get like the awesomest cav possible for my Hellenistic people. Because back in Alexander the Great's day, their companion cav and their Thessalian cav were the finest in the world when it came to heavy cav. And yeah, I'm always going to hold the Olympics, guys. As long as I hold Olympia, I will always hold the Olympics, because it gives the Greek world 20 plus opinion of me. And there's absolutely no reason to stop the Olympics from happening. It was a Greek thing, and as they say, the show must go on. Little cool thing is, during the Olympics, they had a thing called the Olympic Truce, and during the Olympic Truce, you were not allowed to be at war. It was just a huge religious violation. I mean, some people still did it, but it made you a huge pariah of the Greek world when you did so. But the idea was, during the Olympics, there was peace. That would be nice nowadays too, wouldn't it? Whenever the Olympics happen, there could be no wars. Alright, so I went for the... what did I go for? think I might have went for unrest, or I went for discipline here, I think, prior to my invasion of Crete. So that when I do land in Crete, my troops will hold out longer. So whenever I pick an omen, it just depends on what the situation is. I don't just pick one omen regardless of the situation. I pick whatever suits me at the time. So here I declare war. I have my navy in position. Unfortunately, I don't realize how big that mercenary army actually is. So I can't really pick him up yet. And it takes a long time to build a trireme, even when it's coming from multiple ports. So here I'm going to plop down 5. And again, I needed 7, not just 5, because I need 42 triremes. So 18, 18, and 7 makes 42. That's how many ships I needed for that, for those mercenaries. It's like when I'm playing this game, you know, I lose track of a lot of things. Here, I just lost track of that. So I'm at war with Crete right now and part of Rhodes. I hate having that lull when I'm at war. It's like when I'm at war, I want to be in their kingdom, slaughtering them. You know, preventing them from recovering and preventing them from preparing. But because they're on an island, it's a little bit different. And because I don't have a navy big enough to ferry my army, it's different. So you're gonna see my ships coming down here. And yeah, funding this navy is quite a drain on the national income, but it's needed if I want to take Crete. So the idea here is to get my my armies down here, down to the Peloponnese, so that I can just ferry them across into Crete. So look, I'm trying to get them in. They won't go in. You know why? I don't have enough ships yet. I feel like that could be something they could address in a future patch, where if their troop numbers are that low, that shouldn't constitute a bigger cohort organization. Like let's say they're down to 1 unit, even though they had 40 cohorts. You would still need 40 ships to transport that 1 unit. So I feel like that's something that they can address eventually. Alright, so building a few more triremes, and then the invasion of Crete can begin. Yeah, Crete is Greek. It's got a huge history behind it. That's where the Palace of Knossos was, and that's where they had the Minotaur, supposedly. And I just want to bring Crete back into the Greek world. The Greek world that's under my command anyways, under my kingdom. So here come the rest of my ships, and I'll have enough troops to invade. So in the meantime, I'm going to send my guys back to Sparta so they can get a few more troops, and then I'm going to invade. Because all that attrition brought them down to 28,000. Their ideal number is 42,000. So there's Crete. They only have 19 cohorts. I mean, that's what it says right now. That number is going to change drastically very soon. So if you look on my outliner, I have 3 armies at my disposal. Remember, I disbanded 2 mercenary armies when I closed out my war with Arutela in the north. I just felt like I didn't really need another. I didn't need all those armies when those armies are just draining my resources. But again, you know, I can raise armies when I need to. It's no problem. So that guy's really disloyal. He's the governor of my Thracian holds up there. So not a good thing to have a disloyal governor. So I see this guy, Caractacus Ambronis. You can tell he's like a barbarian of sorts. His loyalty is pretty high, so I actually do pick him to be the governor of Thrace. But he does become supportive of a pretender later on in this video. It's just weird. I thought, you know, he's a barbarian, but maybe he wants to help out. That is the kind of cultural metropolitan world that Alexander wanted. He wanted a world of different cultures under his kingdom. So that would have been great if that guy didn't later support a pretender later on. Alright, so my mercenary army is back to 33,000. I'm at war with Crete. Nothing's happened yet. So I want to get these guys down there and attack them. Attack Crete. It's such a huge island. It'd be great to have them. They're going to promote those guys into being citizens. Because that province is outright disloyal right now. Okay, so time to get them onto that ship, and time to bring the vision of Alexander the Great to Crete. You know, actually, I think there's a way you can build roads in this. I haven't really explored that. I saw another person I met at the tournament. I didn't meet them, but I talked to them. Like, they were building a road in one of the cities they own, so I might start doing that. That there is a mercenary army of 16,000, but, you know, I could totally recruit them later on. So gonna land those guys here, take that port, and then I'm gonna once they're off that ship, those ships, I'm gonna bring that navy back to the coast there and pick up more troops. So you can see that city's gonna fall really soon. They don't have a fort there, and there I almost ran into the Cretan fleet. They only have 8, so I could have taken them, but I didn't quite see them coming, so don't worry, I will engage them later on though. So I'm going to bring those guys down. Now, here's a problem. So I'm going to bring these guys down here to assist that army of 36,000. But you're going to see that I can't land these troops here. And you know why? It's because that commander is disloyal. And there's an army of 19,000 Cretans coming to attack. Like 36,000 mercenaries can take them easily. But I'm trying to get these guys off the ship, and I don't realize they're disloyal for a few moments here. I'm like, why can't I land them? So Crete is building up an army right now. See, they're raising troops everywhere. So I want to come and attack those guys of 19,000. Before they unite with the other cohorts being raised at this time. So there, I beat those guys back, but look back there on the east side. As my ships get out there, I can see the Cretans building up an army. Doesn't look bad right now. It looks manageable right now. And look, here I'm still trying to land my army here. Like anywhere. I feel like anywhere at this point would be great. Yeah, what I still don't realize is that those troops are disloyal, so they're not going to land. I mean, sorry, the troops aren't disloyal. The commander is disloyal. And he's not letting me land my troops. So I won another battle out there, and I captured an enemy commander just now. So now my next goal, like I want to go over there to that Rhodesian island right there. It's Carpathos, and try to land there, but they can't land there even. So here I'm like, why can't I land my troops anywhere? I still haven't put 2 and 2 together and realized that they're actually disloyal. And I should have known better because I've had a lot of experience with disloyal commanders. Sorry about that. The princess is vacuuming the kingdom right now, so you can hear the vacuum running. Sorry about that. Man, at what point do I realize they're disloyal? I think it's here. And here I'm actually looking at the wrong person. I'm looking at the naval commander. But that guy is my primary heir to the throne. So if my current Basileus dies for whatever reason, hint hint, the other guy will take command. Because he is a primary heir. Alright, so look at that! An army of 48,000! Where the heck did 48,000 troops come from? So I stopped my troops from landing there, and I want to get behind that fort. See that fort right there? That fort will slow the computer down, so I want to land my troops here, and then get another army from Macedon. So I'm gonna hire a mercenary army, and I'm also going to gather up a national army, like a much smaller national army. Alright, so I won that siege. So Crete is raising troops like crazy right now. I know they have over 50,000 troops, or they have over 49,000 troops right now. So I'm gonna try to stem the attack, and I believe I actually beat back this first attack here. I have what 38,000 versus his 49,000, and I believe it or not, I actually win this fight, if I remember correctly. But I know that the army is huge; they can reform, so I still have to raise another army and bring down a mercenary army to help out in Crete. But you can see in Crete, this is not the, you know, the walk in Winter Wonderland I thought it was going to be. I forgot the phrase of that. A walk in the woods? No, a walk in the park. It was not the walk in the park I thought it was going to be. But yeah, look, so I'm at 16,000, they're at 27,000, and guess what? I do beat them, I believe. But I'm frantically raising another army in Macedon, or actually in southern Greece. So look, I actually won that battle! So you can see how excited I was in the video. I was like pumping my hands up in the air. But that army is still huge, that army I just beat. So I still need that other army to come down ASAP. Well, it's 25,000, so I need to get that army down as fast as I can. They're being raised slowly but surely. But it'll take time to load them up. You know, get them reformed, and then load them back down. Hopefully fast enough to meet the next Cretan attack. So I'm trying to push down as fast as I can to stop them from raising more troops in other cities. And if I need to, I can retreat again. But again, this is not a, you know, a walk in the park here in Crete. I think the war against the northern barbarians was a little bit bloodier, but yeah, this battle, this war down here is pretty bad too. Alright, so I do have, at least I have 17,000 down there, and I did manage to beat that big army once, so, you know, maybe I could beat them again if they came back, maybe. But yeah, I still want to get these guys down here, but I'm having trouble. Oh yeah, here I paused a little bit. I want to get that other group of 1,000 to join my army, make it into 13,000. And here I'm just in a rush to close these events so that I can focus on the matter at hand. That's funny, bribing a mercenary. And there, look, my king just died. The axe, he just died, so I have a new king and I have all these disloyal provinces. So now I'm really focused on ending this war in Crete now, because I got this new king and a lot of things can happen. But look at my king. My legitimacy only went down to 77%. Usually it goes down to negative when I get a new king. So I feel like this new king is a much better king that more people can stand behind. I don't know what the problem was with the previous kings, but this guy seems to be a bit more popular with the people. As far as I've seen so far, that is. So I got this army coming down to 15,000. They are taking attrition right now, but that's to be expected. And I want to land them down in Crete, so that when that army reforms, I know they will, I can meet them. So for this guy, I want to get him a lady, arrange a marriage. So I pick that hot stuff right there. It's kind of funny, like, not too much longer, he has a child with that person. The person I just hooked him up with. So look at that, just like that, just a child. I think that was him. Whatever the case, I am happy to be the matchmaker there, and, you know, I made love happen in ancient Greece. Summer lovin', having a blast. Alright, there it is. The army's back to 48,000. How the heck did they get so big so fast? So, I have, what, 14,000 plus 23,000. That's not big enough to fight that army. So, I don't know what Crete has been doing, but they have so many troops at their disposal. And he beat my first army so fast that my guys couldn't get there to extend the battle. So now I'm kind of panicking. I'm like, whoa, where did this freaking army come from? Like, should I even bother moving that army of 8,000 in there? But they're just gonna die too. So I was kind of in disbelief as how Crete was able to raise this many troops so fast. Because you guys saw it, they only had, well, like, I don't know, like 18,000 cohorts when my invasion started, and then they went up to 49,000 and 51,000, and then they're back to 51,000 again after I beat them the first few times. So I'm going to bring this guy down. He is a disloyal dude. So my goal here is to change the commander out and bring him down, I think. Do what I can. I need to save Crete. I want to take Crete. Oh, those guys gave me money. Awesome. I want to save Crete and then just focus internally. Because I've got a new king. And I got to legitimize his throne. Make the commanders happy. And check out the provinces that are disloyal. Check out the governors that are in charge of these provinces. There's a lot I have to do back at home. But I want to end this war in Crete, though. I still can't change that commander out. That commander is disloyal. And that army came out of nowhere. That is a rebel army, basically. So I was actually expecting a civil war to happen again. Because I have all these disloyal provinces, disloyal governors. I've got a pretender being supported. So I'm going to duck behind that fort. That fort is going to slow that army of 46,000 down. So I want to hide back there in Polyrrhenia long enough for another army to get down there. So I've got a mercenary army coming down to 29,000. And I'm going to build another national army. So it's been a very, it's been 2 giant wars in this video, and both of them were not going according to plan. And there I went for the maintenance cost there. There's like so many options. A lot of times I feel like I picked the best option, but then when I think about it, I'm like, I should have picked something else. But you know, I still have time to come back and pick him again later on too. Okay, that guy that I just picked, I believe he is a pretender. And I still can't change that guy out. I was thinking about recruiting more troops to him so that I would have more control over that army. So they're opted to be his friend, I think. Yeah, that guy is a pretender. And I didn't realize it until too late. And no, I'm not going to arrange a marriage with him. I considered it, but if he's a pretender, I don't want his seed coming back to rebel against me later on. If that even happens. So, strangely enough, the army of 47,000 isn't chasing my guys off the beaches. They could have, but he has given me time to bring another army down, like 2 more armies down. Because I'm going to bring my mercenary army down, and I'm going to bring a national army down. So he's definitely sealing his own fate by not destroying that army that's right there in Crete. If he destroyed them, then I'd be like, well, dang. Might have to pause my invasion of Crete for now. But yeah, you can see my other army is reforming down there. We must not neglect the arts, even though it costs 292 gold pieces. That's how much I love the arts. My king is a Renaissance man, even though it's not the Renaissance yet. I guess he is a an ancient man. Alright, time to pick up another army. I'm going to load them up. And you can see that army of 47,000 Cretans are still not moving yet. I was like, this guy is... Well, it's the AI. He's not... He could save his kingdom by moving. But so now he's finally moving. And he's back to 48,000. But I'm like, hey, this is good. But I've got 2 armies about to land. One has 28,000 troops. So that in itself is a pretty big army. I'm going to land right there. And he can't touch that city yet of Sidonia because that fort's in the way. So once I land them, I'm going to pick up my other army of 15,000 that's coming down too. So right now, I have 48,000, he has 48,000. But a battle of equal numbers can go either way, so I definitely want this army of 15,000 coming up, or coming down. And now he's stuck on that fort, he's trying to siege it down. So this 15,000 is the deciding army. And I had just enough time to get my army down here. I'm going to land here. I'm going to take those armies and lay the smackdown on his Cretan army. And then just pursue it all the way to the end of Crete. That's what he should have done to me, but he didn't. So look, I have 56,000. I have a much bigger army. But yeah, if you're ever in the reverse situation, yeah, destroy that army before more troops come. And then you probably could have staved off an invasion. So now that they're retreated, I'm just gonna take these cities out. And then when it reforms, I'll destroy them too. Because now they're at a manageable level of 15,000. And then I can just completely take Crete. And I'm going to bring my fleet around. I want to take out any enemy ships, and also scout out for more troops reforming so I can see what's happening. But that's the beauty of having a navy. I can go down the coast and see more troops coming. And there I just captured the enemy fleet commander of Crete. And time for invention time. I think I go for the Boeotian helmet. I need my army to be more effective. I especially need it to be as effective as possible when I finally fight the Romans. But as they say in Game of Thrones, one game at a time. One game at a time. Rome are basically like the dragons. No, Moria is like the dragons. I guess the Romans would be more like, shoot, I don't know. Maybe the Lannisters, maybe? I don't know. There might not be an equivalent to my situation here. But look at that beauty of Crete being occupied by Macedon. Macedon can run this island much better than its previous owners. So look at the army of 16,000. So they got a little bigger. I need to move in and help out. So luckily my my ship's there, because it can transport troops behind him. But the reason why I got these guys involved in this battle and I'm not helping out is because that army is disloyal. I don't know if you realize it, but those people loaded themselves onto my ship and attacked Crete on their own accord. So when they try to reboard my ship, I'm going to move my ship out of the way so they can't reboard it. And I was surprised they beat that much bigger army. So you see how it's trying to come back? I moved my navy out of the way. I wanted those guys to die right there, but they didn't. So how dare Crete not finish the job? And there is the Rhodesian fleet, and I want to sink them, but they just run away. So I'm gonna try to bribe that guy. Wait, did I already bribe him? So I'm trying to chase that Rhodesian fleet, but they just run away all the way towards Asia. And there it is again. So 5 versus 45. The odds are in my favor. So here I try to send my troops in by themselves again. So I want to kill some of those disloyal troops. But then I realized, you know, I already switched out the disloyal commander. That's fine. So I might as well help him now. Just gotta bleed him a little bit. We were victorious! So, I don't know if I said it in this video, but I do want to eventually take Euboea and Argos. Those are my feudatory kingdoms within my kingdom. I don't want to conquer them, though. I want to take them by influence, if that's possible. And I know this guy keeps telling me there's a way to do it. I just don't see the option yet in my diplomacy. I feel like I should be giving them money and gifts, get their opinion of Macedon to be 100% or whatever it takes. And I want to take him by love and not by, you know, by force. For some reason, even though it's the AI, I just feel bad destroying them. But if they come over to Macedon on their own accord, then that's great. Alright, so they're, Crete is completely under my control. And I don't want to peace out with them yet, because I think that I'm still at war with Rhodes. So I'm going to load those traitors on to my ship and try to land on that island of Carpathos and get my troops killed there, because they were disloyal at one point. They might be disloyal again. But what I don't realize is that I am not at war with Rhodes anymore for whatever reason. So I get my troops right there. And I'm going to try to land my troops. But see, sorry. See right there, I can't land my troops there. So I'm trying to look, it says declare war on them, so if I have to declare war on them, that means I'm not at war with them in the first place. So I'm just going to peace out with Crete, but Crete is no longer in existence. Well, it is. Now it's better, because now it belongs to Macedon. And to the most glorious throne of the Basileus of Macedon. So I don't want to kill them all. I want Crete to be kind of Crete still. So I'm just going to banish those of class and put the rest to the sword. So boom, Crete is now mine. Macedon owns Crete, and that was a huge war aim. I still need to take those little islands in the Aegean. Those little Greek islands right there, they belong to Cypress right now. So when I do go to war with Cyprus in the future, I want to take those islands, and part of my peace agreement is to keep control of those islands. I will not rest until all of Greece is under Greek control. But look on the top left, look at all that money I have. I got all this money. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes here just looking at the internals of Macedon, because right now I've got a new king. I've got a pretender out there. I've got disloyal provinces. I got disloyal officials. That guy is the pretender right there. I can't imprison him though. Probably because my oratory power is too low. But once I can, I'm going to imprison him and execute him. That's so sad. They're supporting a guy who's only 18. I mean, that's not bad, because Alexander the Great was 18 as well. But that's different. That's Alexander the Great. This guy is not Alexander the Great. This is Pythagoras the Pathetic. But you know what? I think he does belong to the same house as my current king, so I don't know why he is a pretender. No, that makes no sense, because a lot of time, well, every time, most of the time, a lot of your rivals were part of your family. So yeah, that does make sense. So I think there's like, what, 10 minutes left in this? I forgot. I do apologize again for having to add the commentary after the fact. It's been a real pain in the butt, because this took me 2 hours to to play this session. And then to go back and add the commentary again, oh man, that's really rough. Because I don't know what I was thinking at the time I was making these actions. That's why I like to record them live. Because most of the time I don't remember what I was doing. A cool thing to take from this campaign session, you know, one, I took a lot of territory in the north. I was able to get a more secure barrier with the mountains in the north. Took Crete, a huge war aim of mine since the beginning of this of my videos. And I finally have a very big navy, 45. I want to make it bigger though. And I want to make them even better in terms of quality. Because you saw many times where the Cypress fleet was just destroying my navy. And I wasn't killing any of them, even though I had a sizable force. So I want a much bigger force of ships, and I want them to have better quality. Anyways, I'm going to ferry my troops back to Greece, or, you know, to the mainland. And I want to deal with the rebellious commanders that I have. I'm going to leave an army of 13,000 back in Crete. And there's also a mercenary army back there, which I disbanded. And if I would get invaded in Crete, I can use my army of 13,000 and hire that mercenary army too. Now, careful, if you ever play multiplayer, a human player would actually recruit that mercenary army and then land. So, yeah, be careful doing that in a multiplayer session. Lack of commander. The third Stratos. That guy's very disloyal. That guy's still disloyal, but a little bit less loyal than the other guy. Or a little bit more loyal than the other guy, sorry. So, bribe to character. Okay, so in the video, for some reason I just got up again. Oh yeah. The royal tiger was making a lot of noise, so I had to see what was going on. And then I had to close the door. But because there's no microphone, you did not hear any of that. So there, I basically just apologize for leaving the face cam for a second. And yeah, I'm going for siege ability here, because I've been having a lot of trouble laying siege to fortified cities. It takes forever to knock them out, so I want to make them a little, you know, less time consuming. I mean, they're still going to be time consuming, but to make them less time consuming is better. And honestly, I really do hope I do really hope that Rome invades me, so that I can bleed their numbers on Greece. And then if that happens, I can invade them a lot easier. And right there is that pretender. So I can't do anything with him yet. I can't imprison him, which I want to do. But I can relieve him of duty. Because he controls an army, and a pretender should not be controlling an army. So I got that really, that guy's a lot more loyal, but he has way less martial ability, unfortunately. But hey, that's fine. I'm not at war with anybody. That's fine. Then there he is, Pythagoras Zagraid. Such a punk. So I did some bribery. So yeah, for my next session, I want to, I get the internal politics of Macedon under control, make my people happier again, and then deal with any threats externally if they come. But otherwise, I can look to expand. But if I do expand, it's going to be against another barbarian faction. So somebody up north. I'm probably not going to fight Rome anytime soon, or Cypress, but it might be Dalmatia maybe, or it might be another barbarian kingdom to the north. But basically, all the action's going to happen north of Macedon. I mean, that's my aim, but again, I want to stabilize Macedon first before I do anything else. But look at all that money I have, guys. It's great. Gonna plop them down, plop down a bunch of granaries, get that populace stimulated. Get some marketplaces too, get that money going as well, the local money. Can't build anything in Crete yet. I just took them over, they're probably still a little bit hostile right now. Understandable. But I'm so happy to have Crete in Greek hands. Well, I mean, they were under Greek hands already, but to get them under Macedonian hands is a great feeling. And, you know, all of Greece needs to be united. So that's me just saving the game. And because I saved the game, you know, I couldn't just restart the campaign and redo it. I wanted to do it because I forgot to do the commentary. Because the microphone being turned off. So annoying. But look at Getia. They're a threat. And also that green kingdom next to me. Oh, the Ad Picarios. Looks like their name changed. Because they got bigger. And there's Crete, guys. I'm going to go turn Crete inside out until I find that Minotaur. I want to ride it all the way to Rome. That'd be awesome. But I want to peace out, guys. See you later. Thanks for watching. I think that's it. Please be it. It's such a long commentary. Alright. Is that it?